Good morning. It has been a long time since I've done one of these video blogs, and it is now June the 22nd of 2022, and a lot has happened since the last time I shared with you. The main thing is that we're now settled into our home in southern Arizona, a town called Green Valley, not far from Tucson. I wanted to just launch in and start giving you content about how to come to the center of your life. But then I realized I had been in the middle of a story, and you had begun a journey with me around a very different kind of move. And that to honor that, I needed to go back and unfold the rest of that story for you. What I can see from this vantage point even more clearly is that that whole period of time that I was in Mount Shasta was a very good time of a lot of inner work, a lot of connecting with nature, taking various courses from different teachers, bringing chant into my life for the first time, expanding my time of doing shamanic journey and accessing the unseen world in that way, using Qigong, using a whole range of different spiritual practices, and going through my own dark nights of the ego to let old patterns go and bring new patterns in. That the move, and me saying, let me be responsible for the move this time, was my way of saying, I want to see how this all functions in something that's practical and complex, and that it will have so many uncontrollable factors about it. So I had begun talking to you about the way in which I had asked Bill to let me take the lead in where we would go, how we would go about the move, what the date of the move would be, all of those things. And so I had set the date for us to arrive here in Green Valley on the 4th of May. I had asked him to try to pull back from doing a whole lot of packing really early because, we made the reservation down here, I think, in the middle of February. And during the course of things, I got to watch how sometimes I could hold on to that and sometimes I would fade back from it. So we were going along, and he was doing what is comfortable for him, which was to get things into boxes, get things sorted. I was doing sorting and cleaning and really wanting to honor the home that we had lived in. So I painted a couple rooms. I was doing some deep cleaning. We knew that we were going to let go of the motorhome, so I'd done special cleaning in that. I think the last time I talked to you, the motorhome had just been backed into the barn, and we didn't know what we were going to do. And we were in that flow, and I was watching that sometimes I could hold the responsibility for it, and sometimes I would fade back. And part of that fading back was really looking at that aspect of codependency that has been part of my operating system from the beginning. And so, just learning to use practices that helped me come into my own sense of being sovereign of my own life, of being responsible for my own life energy, of being responsible for listening to the cues from within my being. So the rest of the story of the motorhome was that after lots of different things that we tried to see how it would flow, it ended up that the insurance company gave us a nice settlement and said, you don't have to use this for repairs, do whatever you want to with it. And so the motorhome went into the hands of Habitat for Humanity and people who were able to do the repairs that were needed and use it to benefit someone else. We hit one point of snag, and that was that we all of a sudden felt like we were doing so well on the move that we could move the move date sooner. And also that it would make things easier for our niece who owned the cabin, who was going to make a trip up and meet with a property manager and help her mother move some things out of that setting that had been there for a long time. And we just thought, it's not going to be easy for all four of us to be in moving mode right around each other. So we moved our date of leaving forward and changed the reservation and all of that kind of thing. We were supposed to be there. We needed to make that connection. And part of what was going on was that Bill and I each needed to complete some bit of our inner work around standing in kind of our adult being and not worrying about what somebody else thought, not worrying about if our niece thought that I had done a good enough job of cleaning, or that they felt like we had done a good enough job of caring for the cabin, or that we were leaving too many things. Those were things that I was having to deal with. So what ended up happening was, just at a point when it felt like Bill's energy was kind of coming back in and wanting to reclaim the pattern of the physical move, he went through a serious nosebleed that wouldn't stop, and we ended up in the emergency room. And after a couple of attempts, ended up with him having to have his nose packed, which was very painful and but effective. And he came out of the whole thing, the whole physical experience, with a new sense of, I'm not in control of any of this, and it's all going to be okay. And he also came out of it with the instructions that he was not to bend from the waist nor pick up anything more than 10 pounds, which made it very clear that it was now my physical move. So I dropped my cleaning mode, my fine-tooth comb kind of cleaning mode that I was in, and went about organizing how we were going to get the last of the things into the car, and took it all the way through that physical packing the car for the first time. And we ended up being back in the flow to leave the date that we had originally scheduled. And as we came down, we hit just the serendipities of a lovely hotel to stay in that was very luxurious and very relaxing for us. We both felt extremely welcomed by the desert when we got here. The first time we saw saguaro and ocotillo and prickly pear and creosote bush, and that whole vivid, alive combination of the Sonoran Desert, we both went, oh. So now we've been here for this, well, I guess we're going toward 2 months now. And as I've been here, what I found is not only has the desert welcomed me, but that the work that I've been wanting to have come into shape is all of a sudden blossoming. So that's one of the reasons I'm here in front of you today, is to begin again this process of sharing with my words, with my presence via blogging. I'm going to be offering a 6-week exploration of ways of connecting with our deepest center. And that information is up on my website now, and I'll be talking about it again. We'll see, probably in the next couple of days I'll do another blog or two. And to allow my work, which has been very inward and expressed mainly with friends and family, to now begin my soul's offering of service to the world. So a lot has changed. I'm sitting here looking out my window at the Santa Rita Mountains. I'm looking at the desert landscaping of my neighbors in a nice little townhouse community. We're renting a house that's comfortable and spacious and supporting of our work. So I did the move. I guided it with the inner guidance, the connections of my spiritual life. And so I've also been doing that work around my work life, and look what's happening. So I invite you to continue to join me on this adventure, and I'll try to share with you some of the things I found most helpful and supportive, the broad mental frameworks, and also the specific practices. So I'm looking forward to being more involved with you and being more a part of your lives. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.